And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Few games excite as much as hide and seek does. Just the idea, especially when you have a big, large building, like if we play hide and seek at church, hiding in the different corners and someone's going around looking for them. It's just a very exciting feeling. And there's this really high level of tension in the air as you're hiding from the other person. Capture the flag and over a large period. Well, that's the same kind of feel that I'm getting from this game here, Nuns on the Run from Mayfair Games. Nuns on the Run, at this point in time, is my favorite game from 2010. It is absolutely amazingly fun. It's kind of like a reverse Scotland Yard. Basically, several players are novices, and they are running around an abbey trying to get some secret thing and get back to their cell without being caught, while another player plays the abbess and the prioress, and they are going around trying to catch everyone else. Let me show you the board. This is the abbey, and you can see there's a whole pile of numbered spaces. If you look closer, each space is numbered and connected to other spaces, showing the paths that players can move on as they go throughout the abbey. Each player is assigned a novice, and there's a token for that novice. For example, here we have Bernadette, and she starts in her cell here. The other player is playing the prioress and the abbess, and they put theirs here in the abbess's cell, and the game is ready to begin. I don't know what they're doing in there, having a party. Each player that is playing the game is given a secret wish card, something that they need to find. These wishes can range from medicine for insomnia, a bottle of brandy, a letter from mom, the book of dark magic, whatever they may be, different things that people are trying to find. And each of these cards shows you on it a key, and you have to find that key and the location then of where you're going. So see, for example, this novice is supposed to find the medicine for quote-unquote spiritual balance. So first she has to find key number 6, then go get the medicine at 121. So we go over back to the board and we look, and where is key number 6? Well, it's all the way at the top of the board here. You can see the spot, space 149 is where you get key number 6. So she has to go all the way over there, and then she has to go to the pharmacy over here, which you can see is locked. Once she has the key, she can unlock the door, and then she has to zoom all the way back and go back to her cell. Now, she has to do this, and all the novices are doing this at the same time, without being caught by the abbess and the prioress. So each turn, players are moving, but they're moving secretly. Everyone can see where the abbess and the prioress are moving, but all the other players who are playing the novices must move secretly, and they will write it down on a pad. They use half of the paper per game. And so you can see here, for example, here's a sample from one of the games that I played, and you can see each turn, you just write down which space you ended your move on and how you moved. For example, you can see number 2, they ended on space 93, and they moved 4 spaces by walking. That's what the W stands for. Turn 3, they moved to 116, and then they ran 5 spaces. And usually they walked and ran. They marked that they got their key on their first turn. On turn 8, you can see they got their secret wish, the SW. And finally, this person got back to their cell before turn 15, which means they won. Over here, they didn't do quite as well. You can see that they used a lot of SN. They were sneaking, and someone else won. In fact, this person was caught by the abbess and the prioress during the course of the game. Players will keep their moves secret. They have to show the abbess and prioress player how they're moving. So, for example, they have to play one of these cards in front of them to show that they're either running, or walking, or sneaking, or standing still. Why would they move slower? Because each turn, the player must roll a 6-sided die. And they will then, if at any point during their movement, they came within that many spaces of one of the 2 hunters, then they must tell the person, basically they've made a noise. And a noise marker is placed near the abbess and the prioress. You don't want to make noises, but there's a modifier to this die roll. If you're sneaking, for example, you'll subtract 2 from your die roll. If standing still, you subtract 3. So there's a chance that they won't hear you. The prioress and the abbess move differently, however. You can see where they start and you can see where they go on each turn, but they can't just move anywhere willy-nilly. Instead, they are using one of these cards for each of the players. For example, this one shows that the abbess is going from the abbess's cell to the kitchen. And it shows you the line here, but the line's also on the board. You can see it marked with a red line. So she'll leave here, follow the red line over, up, over, all the way up there, and then over, up, and above to the kitchen. Now, you might think, well, that's easy enough, just avoid her route. However, if at any point on her route, the abbess or the priors, whoever's moving on that route, if at any point they see a novice or hear a novice, hear a noise, they are allowed to deviate from their route. Now, if the next turn they no longer see a novice or hear a novice at all, they have to return to their route, but it does keep everyone very cautious because the abbess and the prioress, they can walk each turn, which allows them to move 3 or 4 and hear noises, or they can run 5 or 6 spaces, but they cannot hear at that point. However, since they can move 6, which is faster than the novices, if they see you, they're probably going to catch you. And what players are doing to win, the person who's playing the abbess and the prioress, they will win if they catch nuns equal to the number of nuns playing a game. So if you're playing with 4 novices, then you have to catch novices 4 times, even if it's the same person caught 4 times. So what if you're caught? Well, when that happens, you have to put this card in front of you to show that you're caught, and you must move 3 or 4 spaces directly towards your cell until, of course, the abbess can no longer see you, and then you're free to run around again. I mentioned before that you can see people. There's all kinds of walls and doors in here. They provide a stick, and on the back of the rule book, a chart to show where you can see people from different spots. There are a few spots on the board where you cannot be seen unless the person's right on top of you. Like over here in the confessional, my wife was hiding there in one game, and I was standing right over here on space 105 and had no idea where she was. I had heard a noise and couldn't figure out where she was. So there's that sense of hide and seek to find a person. As I said, this game is extremely fun. I've played it over 10 times already, and almost every group that I play it with is demanding to play it again immediately afterward. I mean, the board looks good, the pieces are good, the theme is fun, and it's when you're playing this game, you're not thinking about the mechanics, but instead you're immersed in how you feel. Really, when you're the novice and that abbess is walking by and you're standing still there, there's really such tension. Or when someone else makes a noise, and so the prioress runs over to see who made the noise, they don't see the person who made the noise, instead they see you standing in the middle of the room. And so players will get back and forth, why did you have to make that noise, you caught me. I think it's a little harder. The most experienced player definitely needs to play the abbess and the prioress because there's all these people running around and you really have to be careful because you're forced to follow these paths. Although you can choose which paths to walk on. But at the same time, when you deviate, how are you going to deviate? Where are you going to go? And you need to try to get into the best position to catch these naughty novices who are running around. The game also comes with these cards called blessing cards. These can be played to modify die rolls. Each player gets one, including the player playing the abbess and the prioress. In fact, the game can go up to 8 players with all 6 novices and then one player playing the abbess and another player playing the prioress. So there's a lot that goes in here. And I like the idea because I like Scotland Yard where one person is writing down secret moves and everyone else is trying to find them. In this game, one person is the hunter and everyone else is hiding. And it just works so well. There's so many different paths to take. There's so many places to hide. Every game feels different because you decide to go on a different route. You can't believe how that abbess just keeps wandering into the same area where you were planning to go, so you got to take a roundabout way to get there. It's a neat theme and neat idea. It works for families and for die-hard gamers. This is a win-win. Buy
it! Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.